You're listening to Tech Nest,
the Proptech podcast.
In each episode, you'll hear from Proptech founders, investors, and industry veterans on how they're using tech to change the way we buy, sell, and invest in real estate. Discover market opportunities, interesting data, growth tactics, and trends driving the industry forward. This isn't just another podcast about making money in real estate.
This is about how we live.
And now your host, Nate Smoyer.
All right, Drew, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Finally got Drew Meyers on the Tech Nest podcast.
Yep.
167 episodes deep.
It's not from lack of trying.
It's not from lack of trying.
You've tried multiple times, and podcasting is on one of my don't generally do lists.
I've tried a few different angles of like, hey, why don't we just talk about this, or we could talk about that, and then so everyone listening or watching, I basically hit up Drew. I was like, hey, what are you doing tomorrow at 10 a.m.? And he told me he didn't have anything lined up. And then, boom, suckered him in, pulled him in. This is for everyone out there. I'm going to go ahead and introduce Drew a little bit here. For the few people who don't know him already, you're an early Zillow. You're a Proptech founder yourself in the
travel tech.
Travel
space.
tech.
Travel/hospitality tech.
It's Proptech.
/ home sharing, so it's Proptech.
Yeah. But now Drew runs, I would describe, the premier community for Proptech founders and investors. It's called Geek Estate.
Geek Estate Mastermind.
Geek Estate Mastermind.
Or the gem, as I like to call it.
It is kind of cool, gem. And you hail from Seattle, which is the Emerald City. It's close enough.
Close enough.
Is Emerald's a type of gem?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So it all works together. It's kind of cool. But anyway, excited to have you here, Drew. So formally, welcome to the show. I'm going to start off with this. You're a Blueprint 3-peat, right?
I am a 3-peat.
So from here on out, if Drew maintains his perfect streak, he's the OG, perfect attendance.
Yeah.
We're on day 2.
There's a very good chance I'll keep my perfect attendance given I'm an investor in Blueprint. So.
There it is.
So Jem and me will be here the next however many years it happens.
So tell me just first impressions, Blueprint, as well as, why do you keep coming back to this? I think this is an important thing. And I want to make sure everyone who's listening that's not here, the
comes
FOMO
here
is
year.
So high.
Yeah.
They're going to book the ticket tomorrow for next year.
They should.
Yeah.
I think the energy here is incredible. And so Jem, I sit on a unique lens kind of on top of all of PropTech. So not just commercial, not just residential, not just hospitality, not just smart city. And Blueprint is that exact audience in terms of there's a very broad diversity of largely C-level executives that cover the gamut of everything related to real estate tech. So pretty much no other conference fits that bill. They're all in their silo of commercial tech or resi tech or agents or brokers, or IMN goes after rental side. So this is the most diverse PropTech audience that exists at mass scale, in person in one spot.
I've talked to already operators. They're actually in the field. They're using PropTech to run their business. I've talked to modular construction, talked to your typical rental management, asset management with a tech layer on top of it. I mean, it is all here. I'm excited to get through. I haven't gotten through the vendor alley, if you will.
The tech is real. I see someone with Oculus glasses on over there demoing something.
I was
obviously
concerned when I saw them yesterday. I was for sure going to see someone trip and fall or jump and just land up on the carpet. I'm assuming they're probably doing some sort of virtual tours.
I assume so.
Yeah.
I would assume so.
And I want to touch on this before we jump into the next topic, but firsthand how hard it is to pull together high caliber leaders.
Yeah,
that's what you've been working on with Gem. 5 years now?
Yeah, the business 6 years, but I've been doing it organically for 15, since the blog was started in 2007.
Yeah. So you know how difficult it is and you've seen this, so you have I think a pretty good vantage point of like how much work goes into an event like this. So I think that just...
It's an immense amount of work, and props for them for pulling it off, because it's not easy to do what they've done with this thing.
Yeah. All right, let's get into brass tacks. What have you seen that's interesting so far here at Blueprint? And maybe you knew about it already, but we'll kind of go through a handful of different either ideas or companies that you've come across.
Yeah, I mean, I still think across the board, like, the most interesting category to me is generative AI imagery.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of interesting stuff happening in that space. The Style Dods of the world, the Foxy AIs, I think they're all here. Yeah. And I'm a consumer product guy at my core. So like one of the consumer opportunities I've been thinking about for a long time and writing about in GEM is the capability, or like, I think someone was going to actually execute a show me what could be in the world, not what is. Mm-hmm. So post renovation, post remodel.
Yep.
I mean, the post like basic reno that's already here. Like, that's simple stuff that Open Door and Zillow and everyone else have been doing for years.
Yeah.
I think the trickier part is actually like, how do you change the bones of a house or a building, right?
Yes.
Buildings are obviously much harder to change the bones of than single-family residences.
Yeah.
But that, to me, is like the big consumer opportunity that I am really have been intrigued with and will continue to be intrigued with, and talk to every company that is
there was one
working
company,
on that realm.
Now that you're saying that, they had it on their website. They had like one of those really fancy sliders where it was like before, and then you could see the after on it. And
Reimagine Home is one of them. That's Style Dots consumer product.
All right,
Yeah, but there's a few others.
Yeah. And I've always, I haven't gone to the bones of the house. I think about it like the literal contents of the house.
Yeah.
Right? Because if it's a fully finished house, it's all white walls, and you want to see the furniture, and admittedly, I'm really glad that digital staging has gotten better. I think some of the first early efforts at digital staging really, like, just have to embrace the cringe.
Yeah.
Because that couch was so one-dimensional, and it just didn't quite fit. But I see it as like hey, there ought to be, like, Wayfair ought to be in this.
Yeah, and the next generation is e-commerce in that.
It's got to be. It's got to be integrated, like a Wayfair or Target or Chip and Joanna Gaines. Someone call them up and let's get the collaboration going.
There's a company actually based out of Denver called Guest House that has been doing kind of staging plus retail for a number of years, 2-3 years.
Yep.
Just in Denver, I think. But yeah, that will happen kind of at much larger scale in the coming years.
I've got a list of some companies I've been talking to while I've been here.
Yeah. And
one of them I hadn't heard of about, and I actually wanted to talk about this company for a few reasons. CredHub. So CredHub, they do the rent reporting for property managers on behalf of the renter, right? Renter pays on time, they get credit reporting, it's incentivized to make them pay. This is not, at this stage in the game, this is not new. And there's a handful of people, Isuzu, probably the most well-known and widely used.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk about CredHub because they've been around for a few years. They've been ahead of the game for some time and are only now entering growth mode after really bootstrapping it for some time.
Are they white labeling the product?
That's a great question. I didn't get that detail.
I haven't talked to them, so I don't know much about them firsthand.
Yeah.
At the high level, I think that category, I think it's going to be integrated in every product that collects rent.
Yep.
So I've kind of honestly always been skeptical that it's a standalone thing.
Yeah. It has to be integrated because otherwise, it's another tool.
It's a feature.
Yes.
For a lot of companies, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I struggle to figure out how the distribution is going to happen.
Yeah, and the one thing this is an area that anything around renters and rent payments, and also like screening for renters.
Yep.
We have so much room for improvement. I think the writing's already on the wall. Criminal history, eviction checks, credit checks, to what extent they can be used or will be used, especially credit checks. A game everyone's forced to play where none of us are told the rules.
Yep.
We vaguely know the rules.
Vaguely.
But they're not really all that fair. I'm like, look, if you can pay the rent every month, why don't we just do bank verification. Canada's doing it.
I agree. It blows my mind that we're not doing bank verification.
It just makes all the sense in the world.
One of the companies that's in that realm would be Matrix Solutions out of New York.
Okay.
They're kind of an alternative credit scoring system that's not based on the traditional legacy.
Yeah. Honestly, I rent to people sometimes who they have very low credit scores because they're college students.
Yep.
They can't have a credit score. I mean, I guess they can put their parents on, and then I got to go do the call center and all that jazz. I just want to know they pay the bills. They pay their bills. Hey, we're set. There was another one I wanted to talk about because you brought up AI.
I brought up AI.
So I'm gonna go down the obvious buzzworthy topic of the year. Little chat app called Libby. Yeah. So
Spencer's new tool.
Spencer Roscoff's new startup. It's a chat application designed for small businesses.
Yep.
I had a chance to talk to him yesterday of like how he sees that being used specifically for real estate. But let's go down this path.
I mean, it's pretty broadly applicable for even like something like Gem, where we have a bunch of people that end up in our inbox, and how do we qualify them, try to get them to either figure out.
Are you using it for that?
We're not using it yet, but it's on our list to go like investigate.
It sounds like a feature that's about to be launched.
I mean, it's a feature we're about to try. Launching, maybe not quite that, but I mean, it's clear opportunity across the board, but in real estate, it's one category, but it's obviously not the only category.
Yeah. I used it, I embedded it within an iframe, built a page, and then put it on my storage facility website.
Oh, nice.
So, it was pretty easy, and this is actually what I liked about it. See, this is where I think any founder in this space, especially if you're going to sell to real estate agents, I'm not going to hate on real estate agents at the moment, but don't make it technically difficult. If I have to watch an explainer video and I can't just like figure it out in the step-by-step wizard and walk myself through it, it's too hard. It's too difficult. And it was actually really easy. I just kind of answered a few questions, and then I tested it a few times, and it worked. It was amazing. Yeah. And anyone else you're seeing AI, and especially like, I think it's like customer cultivation, lead cultivation, like answering the same 30 questions over and over, handling that in like either the purchase market, the rental market.
Yeah, I mean, the category is obviously not new. Like there's been, structurally it's been around for, I don't know, many years.
Nate Jones has been doing this forever.
My consumer question has always been, is that experience better than a human? Right? And I don't think the tech is there yet.
Sure.
I think it's getting there, right? I mean, like it's definitely a lot better today than it was 3-4 years ago when it was very obvious like that was not a real person talking to you.
Yes. And those are those are like more like chat bots where you had to do like decision trees on answers and that sort of thing. Whereas AI, a lot better contextualization, has some understanding of tone, but you still have to give it something to work from.
Right.
Yeah. What about this is an area that I think is the real future of AI for real estate is taking, as I've heard it described, unstructured data and then putting it into a way that you can utilize it. So for instance, like the quality of a neighborhood based on the conditions of the sidewalk. I know that sounds ridiculous, but any of us that likes to run, right?
Yeah.
If the sidewalks are repaired frequently, there's a company called Smart Roof. They leverage drones.
Yeah, Smart Roof is a super smart implementation.
Yeah, they use drones to take video recordings of roofs, and then that's the roof inspection, and then the AI video recognizes like if there's a tear, if there's a puncture, the condition of the roof, and that one right there, it's one thing, okay, now the customer is going to get a new roof because it's bad. But that data you collected, how does you could structure that in a way of like, how does an insurance company want to look at that or use that? How is that used for financing? Yep. Especially if it's a new purchase, desktop appraisals are going to get really truly
They're
desktop
really,
appraisals.
Really good. Yeah. It's kind of the next generation of aerial imagery. I would say is just drone imagery that's very, very close up.
Yeah.
So, getting that at scale is a pretty interesting opportunity.
Yeah. And one of the interesting things there too, this is like a total sidebar, is that like fire hydrants. I recently learned about this not that long ago, that there's no database of fire hydrants.
Really?
There's no like
There's no ArcGIS layer that you could.
There might be. Maybe I'm saying no, there's none, but there's not a really exhaustive one.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, how do you know where the fire hydrants are if you're the insurance company or if you're the lender? And this goes to any data point though. Any data point that relies on the consumer to have to tell you what is there is an opportunity to leverage visual imagery to create data sets to deliver a better consumer experience. Because you can fill in the gaps just by plugging in the address and it knows everything else.
Yep.
You know, I think that's where it's going.
Yeah. Yeah, one of many interesting use cases.
I hope we're not talking like we were hearing people talk about blockchain 2-3 years ago.
I hope not too.
Because several years ago, that was the blockchain was we were talking about how it was going to take over title, how it was going to be the transaction platform, even listings were going to go there, and so
all the fractional players used it.
Everything.
Yeah.
Can we pick on that for a minute? Where's blockchain?
Nowhere.
Have you seen anything here?
I haven't.
Blueprint focused on solving a problem with blockchain.
I mean, to be fair, I haven't walked around the expo floor yet.
Well, they haven't opened it, so everyone listening, we're doing our diligence. They haven't opened the floor.
This is the pre-diligence.
Yeah. We're going to just speculate a whole lot. All right, I'm going to shift to a slightly different topic here. I know that you've done some investing of your own in the space.
Bit. Yep.
But you're also very close with a lot of other venture investors and founders. So you're hearing the whispers through the lanes. For the founders listening to this, you know, what's the environment like raising right now? What are you hearing as far as like how aggressive venture capitalists are going after and investing into proptechs, and also like how are proptechs successful in raising capital right now?
So, I mean, we do have like a venture deals channel and Gem so we do share deals quite often and help kind of connect the dots for founders with capital sources. So I do talk to lots of founders in that scenario. Certainly, I mean, there's real struggles in the market right now, to be very, very frank. Like a lot of people have really, really struggled to put capital into deals.
Yep.
But that said, I would say good deals are getting done. Like, it's not that you just have to have a lot more attraction and like be a lot more differentiated. You can't just throw up a fancy term and get money the way you could 12, 18 months ago or 24 months ago.
Yeah.
So
if this environment kind of sticks around, would you agree that you basically, if you think you're going to raise one round and then probably going to do a next, you should, and to some degree, always be raising, no?
Always be raising, that's for sure. Every founder, for the most part, is always raising, even if they're not raising.
And then for those founders listening, like always be raising. But what can founders specifically be doing to better position themselves to be able to actually get the terms they're looking for?
I mean, become better storytellers and have real proof of distribution, traction, adoption. Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, when I look at deals, that's the first thing I'm trying to figure out is what is the unique distribution advantage?
Yep.
Because without that, you're dead in the water.
Yep.
Like, there's just too many big people that have massive audiences, and like, it doesn't matter if they're 2-3 years slow. It doesn't matter because they can instantaneously put something on 50 million people in a way that would cost a startup like $1 billion in marketing spend to get there.
Yep.
So. You have to find the right strategic relationships, sales channel, and core urgent pain, like something that shows me that you've actually figured out a way to sell this thing, and like I can see a path of how is this thing actually going to get to 10 million ARR or whatever the number is.
I've been seeing that products leveraging owner benefit packages and resident benefit packages.
Yep.
You know, a piñata, for instance, like renter benefits. They're kind of plugged into these renter benefit packages that are working with, the property management systems, and so then they get instant distribution to a ton of residents.
Yep.
Well, you wrote about Blanket recently.
Yep. Blanket Homes is a really interesting marketplace attempt that
they're reaching I think they've got a good strategy to reach a lot of owners fast.
Yeah, I do too.
They're going to go to the property manager, enable the property manager to provide better reporting to all the owners, and then if those owners decide they want to sell or buy another property, they've got the makings to create a marketplace for those investment properties.
Yeah. One other trend that I've been thinking about for a while is the shift to kind of homeowners under management on the residential side of the industry. So I think that's slowly playing out, and I'm certainly curious to talk to anyone
like flat out of Chicago.
I mean, there's maintenance plays, there's financial plays, there's just straight data plays on top of that. There's like lifestyle marketing, like milestones. So that whole category is super interesting, and I do think in 5-10 years, like the industry will talk about homeowners under management as a common term that most people don't really get what that means today.
I think that, so the play here, this could be interesting for everyone listening that wants to enter that space. Partner with the biggest real estate brokerages, get them to put that as part of like the buyer package or seller package, right? I don't know if you have to incentivize. Sellers aren't giving away anything anywhere. But
the incentives are the hard piece.
It used to be home warranties, right?
Yeah.
Get a home warranty for a year or two. But get the home maintenance package. That's way better than a home warranty. Because statistically, you're not going to use the home warranty. That's why they exist. Right? Use the home maintenance. You have to change the air filters. You have to you should get your water heater serviced, your furnace serviced. Put in a package to get your roof inspected every 5 years. And man, I sign up.
With Smart Roof.
Smart Roof, yeah. There it is.
There it is.
I'll sign up for that.
They're part of that.
$50 a month? I don't know what it costs. It's probably more than that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll throw the price out there nice and low. All right, before we close out, Drew, I want to give you an opportunity. Geek Estate, I appreciate everything you do. I got a chance to talk to one of your employees earlier today.
Yeah, Ben. Ben's roaming around the floors there.
Ben doesn't know this. I'm going to put him on blast. Ben drove the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile around the country for a full year.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's awesome.
I don't know how you hired a former Oscar Mayer Wienermobile.
Well, he worked for me before that, and then left for a year to drive the Wienermobile around, which has got to be just an incredible experience. It's crazy.
What's the technical title for that?
I don't know. Wiener driver?
I don't know. Oh, but all right. Before we close out, I wanted to give you an opportunity, for people, what do they need to know about how to get connected, plugged into the Geek Estate Mastermind? The different. I know you have a few different offerings these days.
Yeah. So now there are actually 2 tiers of GEM today. We just launched a couple weeks ago which Ben is working on. What we call the Crystal tier, which is a paid newsletter with a lot of the content that we do, not all we do some very deep business intelligence kind of product reviews and category reviews, and not all that stuff is in our paid newsletter. But paid newsletter is $10 a month for the first 250 people, so that's kind of special pricing right now. The GEM, which now we call GEM Diamond, is the kind of full-fledged group, which is only for CEOs, founders, venture capitalists, partner-level venture capitalists. And that's where we put on very curated dinners, lunches, happy hours across the country. That's where we post our much deeper kind of business intelligence briefings on kind of interesting sectors of PropTech that we follow, like home management or co-living. We've done a bunch. I think we've done 12 or 15 of these.
And I want to talk about this for just a hot second, because this is one of my favorite stories. So Ryan Fraser arrived homes.
Yeah, he's coming to dinner tonight. 4 years ago, I can't remember. We went to that podunk Mexican restaurant that's in what's the square downtown Seattle? In LA or
no,
Seattle?
Oh, Pioneer Square.
Yeah.
We went to Pioneer Square.
The Lodge. It shut down.
Oh, well, see, I called it podunk for a reason.
Yeah.
But Ryan Fraser was there, and he's telling me he's got these ideas of what he's going to do with his business. And honestly, in my head, I was doing mathematical calculations to try and understand what he was saying. And that was all because of being part of the GEM community.
Yep.
And the opportunity to have those conversations with people of that caliber,
at the early stage,
and they those early stage are still coming in, but also people quote unquote who've made it are also still part of and active in the community come out. And we just had a lunch a few weeks ago, and I thought we actually had a really good, productive discussion. When I was visiting Seattle. So if you're a founder and you're not part of GEM, I don't know what you're doing. You're probably not going to raise again. You just shut it down. But otherwise, so where do people go? How do they learn the most? What they
you
need
can
to know?
find me at geekestate.com is all things GEM.
Cool.
We're in the midst of a landing page redesign to factor in our new Crystal offering, but right now it's geekestate.com is the landing spot.
Cool. All right, and
and at Drew Meyers on Twitter if you want to follow me somewhere.
There it is. Follow him on Twitter, like every other PropTech CEO that also needs to get on Twitter. But special thank you to Blueprint for allowing us to podcast live here.
Yeah, this is a cool booth.
This is great. The
cool
print.
Studio.
You should also be on the Blueprint newsletter. If you're not getting that, it's actually one of the best in the industry that I'm going to call out. But again, thank you to Blueprint for their hospitality, letting us set up shop here. I don't know. We'll catch you Blueprint next year.
Yeah, I'll be here.
Let the FOMO sink in for everyone not here.
Yep.
Thanks, Drew. We'll see you.
Thanks for listening to TechNest, the PropTech podcast. Find all the links and resources mentioned in this episode on technest.io. You can get future episodes delivered to your ears directly by subscribing to the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and all other major podcast apps. Follow TechNest on social media to stay up to speed on new developments, resources, and announcements in PropTech. Your support is greatly appreciated. There's 2 ways you can directly support this podcast. Share episodes you find interesting, and then leave a review of the show in the App Store. From Nate and the TechNest team, thanks for listening.